That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 46. This is the sixth time I'm doing the open. Mike Biseglia, Alex Benesowitz. Alex, how are you doing tonight, my man?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's almost like six times the Knicks tried to blow the game versus the Bulls tonight, but in
You're
the
saying
fourth
I'm the
quarter, last
Knicks
minute,
of introductions?
you are the Knicks of introductions, or you are the
Oh,
Nets versus the Wizards of introductions at the end of a game.
I
And that
missed it.
was
Don't let me know what happens. I'm
yeah
DVRing
from
it
three
for
days ago.
the off season. Holy crap, was that awful?
That was terrible.
Hey
But
guys, if you're listening
same.
to this podcast, thank you so much. Of
Mhm.
course, if you're listening on Apple, subscribe, give a 5-star rating, leave a comment. If you're listening on another platform, still subscribe. It's greatly appreciated and it goes
Please.
a long way. We've got an awesome guest coming up for you in a matter of moments. Moe Moton, NFL features columnist for Bleacher Report. We'll talk a little Super Bowl. He's also a big Raiders guy. There's a lot of Raiders in the news that I think we'll find interesting. He's a Raiders writer for Silver and Black. And of course, coming on the of course, if you're coming
Yeah.
on Bad Weather Fans, you are a New York Knicks or Nets fan, but more on the Knicks mold. So Mo's a big Knicks guy, Alex, which I know you and him connected on Twitter for a
Yeah.
long, long time.
Yeah, no, he's a great dude, and we've been following each other for a long time, interacting for a long time on Twitter. I always enjoy our banter, and he's a good dude. And like I said, like you said, he's a Knicks fan, and that's really what matters in life. It's a character. It's a good piece of character, and he's sticking with him, and he's a Knicks fan, and he's not going to the other side,
A
the
good
dark side.
character in life.
Yeah, where
So deep.
your team full of mercenaries. He's not like he didn't follow you guys over there. So
Well, we'll have to
it is
do
what
an
it is.
episode at some point coming up. I'd love to get him back on the podcast if we can
Mhm.
book him. Very busy man.
Yeah.
Is Dolan J. Trump because his hate for the Nets is hardcore right
Oh
now, and I've
man.
seen it on Twitter. I'd love to get him back on just to talk about like how he is Captain Hate the Nets
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
more than you.
more than me. Yeah, no, my Nets hate kind of dissipated. I guess if that's the word. It's too late to use big words, but it kind of went away when they got Harden and Harden like looks good because it's just they if they're all right, the three of them, then what doesn't matter the rest of the team. There's no
Well, let me say
yeah.
this. I think maybe when the playoffs start, it'll amp up, but now you're kind of like it's just a waste of time.
Yeah, yeah. But before it was like it was Kyrie showing up for work, and is this going to work? And the team doesn't really make sense, and it was just kind of like a mess. And then I don't know. Now it's just like whatever. So what can you do? It kind of is like, all right, well the Nets are good. They're going to be at least in the second round of the playoffs without even trying. So
They might play the Knicks in the first round.
that would be great.
I
Imagine.
would hate that.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
Why?
That'd be
We'll,
awesome
talk.
because
We'll,
you would. Yeah, we'll
we'll
get
talk
there.
about that on the other side. There's a little tease.
Yes.
We'll talk about that on the other side. So, Knicks win tonight. We'll talk about that on the other side too. But let's get to our interview now. Here is Moe Moton. We're talking a little Knicks, talking a little Raiders, talking a little Super Bowl. Here we go. All right, it's Bad Weather Fans Podcast. Mike and Alex, and we're joined right now by Moe Moton. He's the NFL features columnist for Bleachers Report, Raiders writer for Silver and Black, and he is a die-hard basketball fan for the New York Knicks.
Good
Mo,
man.
thanks for coming on Bad Weather Fans. How you doing?
Appreciate you guys having me on. Switching over, usually on the NFL side, but I'm a Knicks fan. Grew up that way, so good to be on with you guys, talking Knicks, talking basketball.
Thanks for
Yeah.
thanks for coming on, man. We've been following each other for a long time on Twitter. You're always a great follow, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on with us. But Mike, you want to start it off?
Well, we were doing our pre-production meeting. We were chatting a little bit. We're going back and forth,
Mhm.
and we're talking about the podcast. Alex is a Knicks fan. Apparently, there's a team there, and I'm a Nets fan. And Mo, you had a question for me, and I was like, "Yo, whoa, time out, Brooklyn. Let's take a quick second, and I want you to ask this to me on the podcast because I definitely have answers for you. So go ahead. The floor is yours. Guest on here. Question, you shoot right away. Here, let me have it.
Putting my reporter hat on,
Let's do
asking
it.
questions here, but I have a lot of friends that are Nets fans now, so I just want to know if you're kind of like them, where you're just kind of jumping on the bandwagon since they got the Brooklyn, or you are an original Nets fan from the New Jersey Nets.
I am an original Nets fan, New Jersey Nets, and I'm so glad timing worked out for me right now. So I became a Nets fan with Drazen Petrovic in Jersey. He was what got me hooked to the Nets. Kenny Anderson, Derek Coleman, and then obviously the Nets had that great run to the NBA Finals. And I took this out randomly, and it's here. I actually have a Nets NBA Finals ticket.
Just carry that with you everywhere.
Jason Kidd on it. So this is an NBA Finals ticket. This is pure coincidence. I'm serious, but I'm a legit Nets fan. I love my Nets. So this era right now is very strange for me, very uncomfortable for me, but I am enjoying this right now with the big three and Harden, Kyrie, and the monster and Kevin Durant.
That's good to hear you're original because bandwagon fans are really Knicks fans that couldn't take for losing, so they just kind of snuck over to the other side of the.
They can't come back though. They can't come back. No. That's it. You're gone.
Not allowed back on.
Definitely not. Not allowed back.
That's it. So you were watching the Mo. You were watching the Knicks game today against the Bulls. Second in a row. Weird COVID scheduling. They played back to back in Chicago. They lose the first one. This one they were up big and wanted to lose the game down the stretch, but they gave it back. What were your thoughts on the game today?
Just what you see from a young team. Come out with a lot of energy. I just thought they came out strong, jumped out on the Bulls early. You like to see that because sometimes the Knicks, they start slow, especially with Elfrid Payton in the starting lineup. But, they get out to a fast start and they got sloppy, 17 turnovers. You don't want to see that. Almost, as you said, gave the game away. But, I mean, you could take wins how you get them with a young team like the Knicks. So I'll take the W as I can get it because I personally, just throwing my projection out there, I didn't have the Knicks winning more than 30 games. So I'm taking W's as they come.
And you referenced it in your answer right now, but not going out, starting fast and starting Payton. What's your opinion on quickly not being in the starting lineup and the way Thibodeau has used him in rotations?
Well, I expect that. Thibodeau strikes me as that old school head coach. You got to pay your dues and cut your teeth when you come in. You're a rookie, earn your keep and all that stuff. So he's not going to flip the starting lineup. Drop of a hat. It's probably, if it happens, it'll probably happen in the second half of the season. But obviously, I think he's earned the right to start because Elfrid Payton can be hot and cold, and he's not a shooter anyway. And the Knicks need scoring; they need shooting in their starting lineup. So, to me, I felt like if they weren't going to start quickly, they should at least insert Alec Burks in there because he can give him some shooting on some nights. But he's going to keep the starting lineup the way it is, and he's going to run with what he has, and that's Tibbs. That's what he's going to do.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those hard-headed veteran coaches. Like, this is my way, and that's it. And I'm telling you, this is my plan, and I'm going to stick to it, even though Quickly's outplaying him. Elfrid Payton, whenever he has that one good game a month or 2 good games a month, the Knicks look unbeatable until like they did the first 3 quarters of this game. But it's just bizarre to me at this point that he's sticking with them. I mean, Burks has been in the starting lineup here and there, but it's mainly been Bullock and I don't know, even Rivers. I wouldn't mind starting because he can get hot also. But it's just bizarre to me at this point that Elfrid's still starting.
Allen Howland had a pretty good stat at the end of the game. I don't know if you guys saw it. The Knicks are 8-2 when Elfrid Payton has 5 baskets, scores 5 buckets. So I guess maybe Tibbs is just saying, "Hey, look, I just need 5 makes for you, and we can get a win." And I'm thinking that's probably what he's riding on. It's just that again, Elfrid Payton is just not that guy. If you don't have a dynamic point guard, you're going to struggle.
Yes, at the beginning of the game, new strategy. Coach Tibbs heard the post game. He's like, "All right, Payton, ISO every time down the court, 1-on-1. I don't care if you're 5 for 56. You get to that 5 plateau, you're getting the victory."
Which is sad. It's a sad predicament. But
I was waiting for the Nets joke from Mike to be like, "Yeah, well, Harden gets 5 baskets a quarter and they win again." You know what I mean? Kind of a thing. It's crazy.
No jokes. But what have you made then of the Nets and the big three? There's been some defensive issues, and then you see with the Nets when they bring some energy and effort and they try, they go out and defeat what people are calling right now, at least at this point, the best team in the NBA in the LA Clippers.
I'll start off with a positive since Mike is a cool dude. What I like about the Nets, right? They have closers, and that's one thing you need in the NBA. They have 3 guys who can get you a bucket at the end of games. We just watched a game where even though Julius Randle was hot at the beginning, he couldn't get a bucket at the end. He struggled at the end, missing some shots. Even RJ Barrett struggled to get some shots. But with the Nets, I think they can put it in cruise control because they feel like we're going to the playoffs, definitely in the Eastern Conference. I know the Eastern Conference isn't as easy as it used to be, but that's a team built for the playoffs. I mean, they're going to coast you. They're going to take turns having their nights, and they're going to have some defensive struggles, as you just pointed out. So that's the one thing I would worry if they get in a series in the semifinals with Philadelphia, with Milwaukee, and those teams give them a tough time scoring. Can they overcome that and still win those games without much defense on their side of the court.
Right, and it's the big man in the middle for the Nets. They need somebody. I mean, DeAndre can give him, one game every 2 games. He's okay, but then it's just, they need a big man. And I don't know if the NBA will let them get Drummond, but I think they're waiting for that buyout, sitting back.
I like the laugh. It's like Knicks fans be like, "What the hell has happened here? How is this even possible?"
They get Drummond. It's just right now. It's just there's no anxiety anymore. It's just once they got Harden lost 20 pounds in 2 days. It was just that's it, man. It was just like, okay, well, they're gonna win. I don't understand that, but what can you do?
Yeah, I feel it. Well, one more for you, Mo. Just curious on the Knick front, and I've asked this to Alex, so I'm just kind of curious because I think he's put himself in a great position this year in Julius Randle, who's borderline an all-star. Has played really well, is putting up tremendous stats. Do you believe the Knicks should use him to build around for the future and be a part of this core with some of the other young players and Quickly and Barrett, or go the route last year like Marcus Morris, make a trade, try to get a draft pick and get assets for Julius Randle? So do you think he's part of their future long term?
I like that question because I actually read an article today, and that was basically the crux of the article.
Mm-hmm.
Should the Knicks sell Julius Randle? His trade value is going to be really high for a contender, and get some, get something in return for the future. Look toward the future, or keep him and look for a push. And I'll say this: I think the Knicks should keep him. And I probably wouldn't have said that at the beginning of the season after they drafted Obi Toppin. I probably said it on Twitter like, "Hey, they're going to trade Julius Randle at some point because Obi Toppin's got to come out and he's got to play." But if you're looking at Obi Toppin, he's clearly not ready. Thibodeau is not going to unleash him anytime soon. Mm-hmm. So Julius Randle has 1 more year left on his deal. And I think the Knicks, now they got a guy who's playing at his level, and the Knicks have needed that. The Knicks have needed a player like Julius Randle. I mean, he shouldn't be your number 1. Mm-hmm. He should be your sidekick or your number 2 on most nights. But I think they should keep him and build around that. And they have him and Quickly, and maybe they can get another star, and maybe RJ Barrett can develop, and you can have something there for the Knicks in their future.
Yeah, I agree. And he's only 26, and they got the team-friendly contract next year on the team option. They can just re-up him and keep him and then even trade him mid next year and see how the team develops and what draft picks they get. And, hopefully the Mavericks continue to fall apart and they get that lottery pick and we see what happens, and it'll be great to see, it's just nice to have some positivity, and you have a good player. Just because you have a good player doesn't mean you need to trade him for the mystery box, like the Family Guy thing. Like just let's see what happens, man. Him and RJ are developing some, what's the word? They're playing well together. I can't think of the word. It's too late. But they're doing well. Chemistry. What was that?
Chemistry.
Thank you. It's too late.
See, we have chemistry, so I could fill in the blanks for you there, Alex.
Yeah, there you go. You finished my sentences exactly. Yeah. So no, I'm just happy with that, and I just want to see Randle just keep developing, and Obi didn't have the summer league, didn't have the regular training camp, and he had a weird college career. It's kind of probably like the moment isn't too big for him, but it's just playing for the Knicks. And like, if you and I, Mo, were playing for the Knicks, we'd be like, the first week we'd be like, holy crap, like what is going on right now, but I don't know. I just feel like he'll get his legs under him soon, but we'll see what happens. I don't want to deal Randle right now. I mean, let's just see what happens.
The thing is, and this applies to the NFL too, just to draw the analogy, the connection there. I think we overvalue draft picks. Right. Unless you're a team that's picking in the top 5 or you're known for developing draft picks very well, I think teams sometimes hoard all of these picks and they don't do anything with them. It's like eventually you have to turn it into something, some production, so you can win games. And I think we just get a first-round pick. Let's just get a first-round pick for this. And it's like, no, just get a player who can actually play, get you buckets and win games.
I always thought of like draft picks as kind of like if you're buying a car and, it's like, oh, I have tickets for 4 cars, but then like once the car is off the lot, all of a sudden it's like the value goes down, and you're like, oh, I wish I didn't have this car. I wish I had a 2020 Nissan Rogue, 2024 Nissan Rogue, and I could think about it for the future. It's like the second you use this, the value is just depleted. So I think that's an interesting point what you made. That's like this idea of just having these picks, which you can use, to maneuver and make deals, but at some point, those picks have to turn into something. And I want to reference this too, because I know you follow Alex on Twitter. There's nobody in this world that is a greater hater of the Dallas Mavericks than this man and Alex. I've never
become that guy. Somehow.
It's like my Twitter feed is no longer like the net stuff is kind of like a little vanishing a little bit.
Yeah, because
he's now full on Mavs.
It's true. It's true. It's Porzingis. It's all the trash talk that happened. Mo knows. Like the Knicks got killed for that Porzingis trade, and it wasn't that bad. And everybody went like they traded, the greatest player of all time. Like let's relax, But it's nice to see them falling apart. I gotta say. So, but I wanted to ask you, Mo, about the Raiders real quick. That has a lot to do with the local New York situation. Like I'm sure wearing the Jets shirt right now. When Week 13, that the Ruggs touchdown, Greg Williams, the all-out blitz, gets fired 2 days later on the Hail Mary. And what was it like through the eyes of the Raiders fans on Raiders Twitter? Because they were in a playoff hunt. They needed this game in the worst way, and they're blowing it to the worst team in the history of football. Like, how did that go?
First of all, I want to say Raiders Twitter is split on everything. It is always 60-40, 50-50 on anything. So half the fan base said, well, they won the game. They were resilient. That's the game they should have lost. So we'll take the win. We're in a playoff hunt. We'll take the wins as we get them. The other half of the fan base is saying, well, the Jets gave up the game because they're tanking for the first overall pick in the draft and they're trying to lose. And I'm trying to explain to people that players and coaches do not tank. Because especially if they're on the way out and they know they're going to be fired at the end of the season, they don't get to see that first round pick develop. They don't get to use that pick because they're gone. They're going to get fired anyway. So there's no throwing games purposely to lose. But that's the pessimistic Raider fans saying, oh, we didn't win the game. We didn't win the game. They lost the game. We didn't win it. So it was kind of like, yeah, everyone was okay. We got the W, but we're not feeling good about it because we should have crushed the Jets. The Jets are terrible. We should have won that game by 2-3 touchdowns, and we didn't. We had to win it on a goofy mistake by Greg Williams going on with an all-out blitz, and Henry Ruggs, who did struggle that game, finally came through, had a big catch, and won it. So it was kind of split. We're happy, but we know we're much better than that.
Yeah, Mike.
Would Raider fans welcome Sam Darnold in a deal if
they locked it
for moving on from Derek Carr? Well, let me just rephrase that because I see you smiling at me. Derek Carr rumors go on Twitter and there's Derek Carr rumors all over the place. I guess if Deshaun Watson's in the deal, that's an upgrade. Where's the fandom on Derek Carr now and the future of him in Vegas?
It's very toxic when you talk Derek Carr on Raiders Twitter. And I mean that we've had people have to delete their Twitter accounts because they spoke out against Derek Carr and said he's not a good quarterback. We've had people get harassed over their opinions over Derek Carr. I will say at this point, because of the season he had in 2020, that there are a lot more supporters to say, hey, we can win with him. We should just focus on improving our defense. Now, with the rumors and Deshaun Watson being connected, a lot of people will agree, and I think you guys would agree that if you can get Deshaun Watson, you do it because he's an upgrade.
Right.
But I personally am in the camp that thinks I don't think the Texans are going to trade him, and if they do, they're gonna wait it out. And John Gruden is very impatient. So if I would have to say what should the Raiders do with their quarterback situation, I think you stick it out with Derek Carr unless somehow you convince the Texans to give him up. And, there's rumors saying that the Raiders could trade Derek Carr for 2 first-round picks and then use that. Well, pair that up with 2 first-round picks of their own this year and next year and give the Texans 4 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson.
That's risky. That's without having the guarantee of that deal. That's risky.
And that's the catch-22 because the reporter that put out that room is very connected with John Gruden. He basically, if he's reporting that the Raiders are open to trading Derek Carr to another team and getting 4 first-round picks and sending it to Houston, that's probably what John Gruden's thought process is.
Wow.
The problem is that, again, I don't know if Houston's gonna budge on it in time for you to make that deal because after the point of the draft, you're thinking, okay, we got to get our team together. We got to get our game plans together. We're not thinking about trading a quarterback after the draft in the middle of in the middle of training camp or OTAs. So if that deal happens, to me, it has to happen before the draft.
Right. And that's just crazy to me because it just shows that the Jets have so much to get Deshaun Watson. They have the 4 first-round picks. They have the cap space that can take him on right away. They can sign Allen Robinson. They can do it relatively easy, so to speak, and even put Sam Darnold in the deal. And then the Texans have a quarterback for a year on a rookie contract. Maybe they can have him the reclamation project and go from there. But it's just crazy to hear like another team like dreaming about Deshaun Watson. Then you don't even think like from an outsider's perspective. Like I know Carr is not the greatest, but I think if you have Carr, you can win with him. Like you were saying, if you have the defense, you have you have Waller, who's incredible, and you have these guys that around him, you never know, so I don't know. Just it's surprising to me.
The problem with Carr is people view him as the Alex Smith. And it is kind of the analogy where he's good, but he's not good enough to get you to a Super Bowl. So why not upgrade if you can?
Right.
He's just good enough to get you to a certain point. But if you want to get over the hump, you might as well try to get someone else.
It's like Chad Pennington.
If you can. Again, decent quarterback. But I think the criticism of Derek Carr is a little unfair because let's just be honest. The Raiders have been a dumpster fire organization, not well run. In recent years, I know they brought in John Gruden and Mike Mayock to be their GM, and it's been a little smoother. But still, there are things that you look at during the season. You're like, this team is still not buttoned up. They had back-to-back season collapses in the second half. Started off 6-4 in 2019, started off 6-3 in 2020, and you don't make the playoffs. Not even a winning record. You finish 7-9, 8-8. It's not good enough. And I think it starts with the head coach. And I think Derek Carr, if he were with a better organization like the Colts, per se, I think he would have a lot more success. People would look at him a lot differently.
What's been Gruden's biggest issue his second time back?
I think he just doesn't have a handle on the team. And again, it goes back to my point about back-to-back late season collapses. Why does that happen? And people are quick to say, well, the defense is terrible. Well, the defense is terrible in the first half of the season. You were 6-4, you were 6-3. What happened in the second half? You had the same unit. Why do you taper off after Thanksgiving? And it kind of happened with the Jets last year where the Jets trounced the Raiders. Yeah. And then that kind of started their spill, their fall. And this year they barely beat the Jets and still they kind of spill at the end. So I think his issue is he does not connect. I don't want to say, I'll rephrase that. He connects well with the modern athlete, but I don't think his message sticks where his guys, if they're not focused, they're just going to go into the game not focused. He has no way of pulling them back and being more stringent and saying, hey, guys, we got to focus. We need some urgency. There were guys coming out of the locker room saying that we have a problem with the commitment level in the locker room amid a playoff run. Derek Carr even got to the podium after a loss and said, we didn't bring the juice at practice. This is after they got killed by Atlanta. It was like 40-something to 6 or 8 or something like that. He said, we just didn't bring the juice at practice leading into that game. And it's like, how do you not? You just had a collapse last year. You're going through this again.
Season on the line.
No urgency. Why is that? And it goes back to the head coach. If you don't have a alpha dog in the locker room, head coach has to say something, and don't think Gruden has that voice anymore.
Which is wild to me because you think of John Gruden, you think of that kind of person, alpha dog kind of guy, but maybe it's kind of a Joe Gibbs times part 2 kind of a situation with John Gruden. I know the team has turned around a little bit, but they're kind of just, in the middle of the pack, 8-8 kind of a thing, so I don't know. But I wanted to get your thoughts on the Super Bowl since we got you here. You're the football guy. What are your thoughts on the Super Bowl? We haven't done our picks yet, but I'm curious to hear what you think. Mo.
I have Chiefs 34-28.
Wow.
And
close.
I'll say that because I think it's going to be close. You have not because of the home field or anything like that, but Tom Brady's been there. Of course, Patrick Mahomes just got from there, but Tom Brady knows what he's doing. He's got a plethora of weapons. I think their offense can match Kansas City. The problem is that Tampa Bay has these moments, these stretches. You saw that in the NFC Championship game. They have stretches where they can't move the ball for some reason. AB is also banged up. He has a knee injury. So I worry that Tampa Bay is going to have a dry spell, and that's when the Chiefs are going to – maybe they're trailing, they come back, and they just overcome it, just like they did last year, where the 49ers kind of had them bottled up and frustrated with their defense, and then all of a sudden the Chiefs, out of nowhere, they just score 14 points in 2 minutes, and then that's it. They win the game. So I think Tampa Bay, if they're going to win, their defense has to be able to be consistent, and I don't want to say shut them down, but slow them down for all 4 quarters, and I don't see that happening with the Chiefs offense.
Do you want to see Brady win another Super Bowl?
No, not me. No,
absolutely not. I mean, I'm a New Yorker, and I've watched those Patriots versus Giants Super Bowls, and I jumped up and down when Eli Manning had that throw to Tyree.
13 years today that we're recording this.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And as a New Yorker, and not necessarily a Giants fan, but being out here, and we're New York and Boston had this rivalry thing going. You don't want to see Tom Brady. I mean, I know he's in Tampa Bay now, but
he's still Brady. He's still Patriots.
Still Brady, and we think Brady,
and Gronk.
Patriots. Yeah.
It almost seems like it's just assumed at this point. I mean, like, take a step back and go, Tom Brady's in the Super Bowl. He's with the Buccaneers. I mean, all of a sudden the Tampa Bay is now there. I know they had good talent, a lot of the solid defense, players around it, but he's the glue that just put it all together. And I can't believe I'm saying this. And if I'm out of line, fine, just tell me, is Tom Brady maybe not even getting enough credit for how good he is, that it's like, okay, you're on Tampa Bay, you go to the Super Bowl. Like, what?
I think it's hate though. People don't like Brady, and I respect what he does. Great at probably the greatest quarterback. I didn't watch Montana, so the greatest quarterback that I've seen in my lifetime with my own eyes. And I think him being with the Patriots, that evil empire, he gets a lot of hate. But if you just take that away, I think once he retires, whenever that is, when he's 55 or whatever, he'll get all the respect that he deserves. There's just there's an interesting comparison. People are saying if he wins his 7th, is he the best athlete? Is he ahead of Jordan in terms of being the most successful athlete? And I think that's a question that has to be revisited if he wins.
That'll be on ESPN nonstop for the next 2 months if that happens.
Fair.
But it's crazy with Tom Brady. Thank God he's not in the AFC East anymore. But it was kind of not as satisfying for me as a Jets fan, because the Jets were so bad that it was like, finally we have this freedom, and we suck.
Right.
But I don't know. For me personally, I think the Chiefs I think it has the ability the Chiefs might just stomp the Buccaneers out. Like, it's really possible. Like you said, like the Bucs go through these spells where they can't score. Brady throws 3 picks in the NFC Championship game. Everybody just forgets that because he's Brady, and they just give him a break, like whatever. But he missed some open receivers in that game, and you can't take your foot off the gas with the Chiefs. Like, you have to keep going because they're not going to stop. Like, they are not. Even if it's a backup quarterback, they're not going to stop. So I don't know. What do you think, Mike?
We got the. I mean, I always get back to the point where it's hard for me to. I always like do this like vision of what's going to happen, and I just have a hard time seeing Tom Brady lose. I'm a Giants fan, so I have seen it, and I saw it with the Eagles at one time. But I mean, if I'm like, man, I'll roll with Brady here. Part of me wants to see him win too with Tampa Bay, just to add the flavor to the Belichick Brady dynamic. To see him go out there and win one with Tampa Bay, I think would just be fascinating. So
it's just enough.
Maybe it's my heart. I can't believe it. I think I'm rooting for Tom Brady on Sunday. I said it.
Yeah, it's enough for me, man. I'll put it in perspective. I'm 36 right now, 36 years old. I was in 7th grade when Mo Lewis knocked Bledsoe out of the game, and he is still playing, and he was still killing my team for all this time. It's just we had our one day in the sun when Mark Sanchez beat them in the playoffs, and that was it. And they haven't won a playoff game since. So, and that's 10 years ago now. So, you know what? Screw Tom Brady. I hope they lose by 50 on Sunday.
Crazy stuff. Well, Mo, thank you very much for coming on the Bad Weather Fans podcast. We had a lot of fun. Tell people where they can follow you on Twitter, and for the Raider fans that are listening, for football fans that are listening, where they can get some of your great content available online.
All of my NFL content on Bleacher Report. If you want to hear me babble about the Raiders, twitter.com at Moe Moton. My Raiders content, Silver and Black Today. I'm a writer there. Usually drop an article or 2 every week. I'm also on Silver and Black Today's radio show with RNR 920, which is the Raiders flagship radio station. I'm on there Fridays. Probably going to start co-hosting in the off season because there's a lot of free agency draft talk coming up. So I'll probably be co-hosting on Fridays. That starts on East Coast time at 5 o'clock, runs through 7. So Bleacher Report, Silver and Black Today. Radio Nation Radio, twitter.com, Moe Moton. That's where I'm at.
And most importantly, diehard Knicks fan, right?
Diehard Knicks fan too.
Cool. Thank you, Mo. All right. Thank you, Mo, for coming on. Bad Weather Fans. Enjoyed that. We will have to do it again. All right, so Alex. Fun. So let's talk a little Nets. Let's talk a little Knicks. Knicks get the win tonight. We got some reaction from you a little bit before with Mo, but let's dive deep now. Knicks up early in the first quarter, clobbering Chicago. It's the NBA, and teams make their runs.
Yeah, everybody has a run.
And then by the end of the game, it's what was it? 5 points. Chicago with the ball.
They got within 3. I think at the end. It's crazy. There were
a lot of chances. Garrett Temple threes. Levine
went off,
jumpers
on people, of course, and it was just. And then there was turnovers, and I can't describe to you play by play what happened at the end, but it was just, there was a lot of turnovers. It was sloppy. It was just all over the place. It was just nobody was taking charge, and the Bull every time the Knicks turned it over, they gave the Bulls a chance. The Bulls just gave it right back. It's just
Right.
like horrible basketball in the last couple minutes, but the Knicks came out on top, and it was like they were like I tweeted out, they were passing this game back and forth like a hot potato. You take it, no, you take it, you take it, no, you take it. And nobody wanted to win, and luckily the Knicks were up and at the end. So,
Yeah,
so we're here.
Elfrid Payton was fantastic, and I
Right.
thought what Mo said was interesting about when he's making jumpers, 5 of them.
5 or more in a
They're
game.
on.
The Knicks are
They have the best
crazy.
winning percentage in the league.
That reminded me of the Parcells thing. Is like if you score a defensive touchdown, then you're have a 90% chance of winning the game or something in football or something like that. Some
Right.
kind of stat,
It's
like,
tough
or
to do
special
it.
teams. Or, yeah,
5
So if you
field
do-
goals. That's it. That's absurd.
5 jump shots, 5 layups. They could be any way. That's insane.
Yeah.
I said obscene. See, I'm
Let me ask you this with this whole quickly thing. I mean,
Mhm.
it's funny to me because Knick fans are like, Tom Thibodeau's done a great job, and then they're just complaining that Quickly's not in the starting lineup. Is there something to the idea that maybe he's not unleashing him fully yet? Because if he's unleashed fully, he's getting all these minutes that he could be exposed and burnout, so that he's kind of dipping him into the pool slowly, like dip my toe in the pool. Like eventually we'll go with the full dive, just so we don't blow our load early, and making sure that his confidence is all there, as opposed to this idea of coach doesn't know what he's doing. But by the way, he's done a good job. The Knicks are the best they've been in a while. They're 10-13. He's better than anybody I've ever seen in the last 5 years. I would just want to say Tom Thibodeau doesn't know what he's doing. He can't get quickly in the game. But I just want to know he's the best coach I've seen in the Knicks in the last couple of years. The team is competent. They have defensive rotations. They actually know what they're doing offensively. Which one is it?
Well, he's a competent coach. That's what I said when he got hired, that it was like, at least it wasn't a Fizdale or Derek Fisher kind of coach that they hired, that, if he has some kind of talent, he's going to coach them to somewhat success. But
Right.
so, and being the bar of being the best Knicks coach in a couple of years is not very high. So it was
Okay.
Mike Woodson, and then that's it, and he wasn't even that good of a coach. And it's honestly, I don't understand the Elfrid Payton love, because Quickly especially recently, he's been playing more minutes than Elfrid Payton. So I don't understand why you're not fully unleashing him, like you were saying, because what I was told this offseason, that this was what this team was about, like just playing the kids and let's see what happens. And that's why we're not signing these guys. That's why we're not going for the big fish. That's why we're not trying to get creative and making a trade that we don't even know is on the table. Like, who knows, it's just, I don't so that's why that's the crux of my problem with Tibbs is with this Elfrid Payton stuff. Is like, sure, Elfrid is the veteran and he should play, but he doesn't need to teach Quickly. He's not going to be perfect. He's a kid. He's going to go through his ups and downs. He's going to have a game where he shoots 1 for 10, and he's going to have a game where he has 7 turnovers. But it's just, let him play through it. Let him learn. I mean, the guy's getting dapped up by Dame Lillard, Lou Williams, Donovan Mitchell's tweeting about him. These guys are noticing him, and that's not normal. Like, some Nets fans were trolling Knicks fans this week saying, "Oh, he's just a glorified Alonzo Trier." Like, would you get out of here? You know what I mean? It's just like, come on. Like, Knicks fans are saying that Alonzo Trier was this. Yeah, we're excited because he had a couple of good games early on. We thought we found something, but he wasn't. Alonzo Trier was undrafted. He wasn't a first-round pick from Kentucky. Like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, this is a different level here. Like, might be somebody that they found here. So it's just let the kid go. Like, the team responds to him. The team is more exciting with him. It's just like, I find myself watching these games, and like the first 6-7 minutes, I'm just like, it's quickly in yet. Like, I'm watching Randall. Okay, Randall and RJ Barrett look incredible together. I think RJ Barrett, like I was saying to Mo, like RJ, they're developing like great chemistry. Like, you help me. Like, they really are. And Mitchell Robinson is still a little out of control. Like, I love him, but you see Mitchell Robinson, if he gets the ball and he's within 5 feet of the hoop, he's jumping to dunk it. Like, there's no, like, he might not even, he'll have 3 guys in between, and he's just like, there's no control whatsoever there, and it's fine. It's just who he is. He needs a point guard. So, but to get back to your original point, I don't understand the Tibbs thing. And yes, it is possible for him to be doing a good job, but also not doing everything right. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's my long-winded answer to you.
Okay. I just want you all focusing on some of the good that he has brought to the New York Knicks organization, and how well they have played to be 10-13 in the mix for a playoff spot, in the mix for that 10, the 7 through 10 thing that's now happening.
The loser playoffs.
Yeah. And I mean, Well, I was they had a first.
Whatever. They'll take it. They'll
What now? Before we got to this second part of this podcast, what did I tease in the beginning? Something about the Nets,
tease the Knicks
right?
Nets first round. What you would like? You would hate that because that would scare the
Yeah. What
bejesus out
is
of
there
you.
to gain? I mean, if you beat the shit out of the Knicks, big deal. If you lose, it's a fucking disaster.
Oh man, and if you lose, it's worse than losing. If like you lost to like the Hawks in the first round, like that would suck. But it would
right.
be
This would be next level
this,
bad.
This would be bad.
Yeah,
Because
this
then
would
it's
be
like
bad.
that whole take over the town kind of crap that you don't preach, but a lot of your organization does. Let's be shit.
Well, let's go here. I
they
like
do.
going here.
They
It's
do.
fun.
They troll.
No,
the Knicks.
they do.
Yeah.
But I mean, I try to stay out of it. But sometimes sometimes I can't help myself and it does boil into it. But I mean, it would be insane. I mean, the Knicks would have to improve a lot from a basketball standpoint to beat the Nets in the first round. I'd have a hard time seeing
it's never gonna happen. If that happens,
trying to be objective, but like, what the hell?
Bet $1
What would
on
have
that, you'd
gone
be a
wrong?
millionaire. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Something would have to happen. Somebody would have to get hurt for that to happen. You know.
So yeah, no,
or two people would have to get hurt to happen. You know. So
I don't. I do look into it because I'm fascinated by it because I do find it interesting as a Nets fan. But like net ratings right now per game are better than the Knicks. There's a couple reasons for that. One, the Knicks were on a West Coast trip, which is miserable. So you're not as many people are going to watch that. Like, it's just reality.
I'm a Knicks fan, and I couldn't stay up for some of those games.
It's just reality. And then the Nets have James Harden that just got dealt. Nets ratings are up 63%. So
the intrigue.
Yeah, there's intrigue, and that'll level out, I suppose, a little bit. I don't know, but it is. I bring it back to this Richard Jefferson point, who came on our podcast, and he talked about like if the Nets were to win 3 straight championships, they'd be a bigger draw than the Knicks, and I totally disagreed with him at the time. I was like, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's true. The more and more I live the moment now, if this big 3 won 3 titles, I don't know if I'm fully engaged on that, but I think there would be an insane shift.
Yeah, no, I think it's also I don't know because a pandemic championship, is it the same feel? There's no parade. There's no, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Like you'll still feel it because by then hopefully we're somewhat normal by the spring. You know,
I'll feel it.
You'll feel it, but I don't know if it's for me. I don't know, but
I've adapted to no fans. This is
right.
This is the new normal.
This is the world.
Sorry for the word, but it really is. Like this is just like
normal. Yeah.
Now what's weird to me is seeing crowds. I was watching NBA TV was on, and there was 20,000 screaming fans. I was like, that is disgusting.
Or LeBron James kicking fans out of the game. Like, how about that? You know, like,
oh my
come
god,
on, dude. Like, come on, LeBron. Like, what are you doing? But
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, I mean, the fans shouldn't have said something, but like, come on, LeBron. Like, just let it go. But anyway, there might be a history there, actually, something with the Cleveland thing. I don't know, like he's been on him for years or something like that.
The guy.
Yeah, like there was something there. Maybe I'm botching it, but I saw something. There might be some kind of history there. It wasn't just like, like he was cursing at him and he said, get him out, kind of a thing.
Gotcha. There's some underlying
there's some history,
there.
but
Gotcha.
Nobody cares about that. That's just a silly, like, who cares? But I just think if the Nets win 3 championships, I still don't think that they would be bigger than, the Knicks, the Yankees, the Giants. I don't see that because it's first of all, it's a weird team now because like I said, it's a team full of mercenaries that was just busting your balls before, but it's not the same as if they were the team before the Harden trade, when it's like you still have your core Nets where you feel like these are my Nets plus these 2 big guys.
I got over that quick.
Yeah. Now he's your guy. Harden's your guy.
I like Harden. I like him though. He's like weirdly my favorite player on the team. I don't know. Yeah. I kind of gravitated towards him because he doesn't
play the right way. He can do it. That's the thing.
I mean, he's averaging 11 assists.
Yeah. How was that?
And it's effortless. And he's made DeAndre Jordan look good.
Yeah.
Which has been nice. And he's shooting well. I mean, he shouldn't have the ball at the very end of games. It should be Durant. That's another topic. But he's been fine. I like him. These guys are good.
He's your guy.
He's my guy, James Harden. But
you know what it is?
No, go ahead.
It's just like compare it to the Warriors dynasty or the Bulls dynasty or the Lakers dynasty. Where like the Lakers got Shaq, so it was a little boring because Shaq was just so good, but Kobe was so good.
Yeah.
But there was still some drama because they didn't always win leading up to that three-peat. But like Jordan was like, that was a homegrown team, and the Warriors was a homegrown team. It was all their guys until they got Durant and made it like a cheat code, you know. And then it's just kind of weird in that, like, you know, it takes a while for them to become your guys, but it's kind of with the Celtics when they got their big three and they won their one championship, even though act like they were a dynasty. They didn't become like the Celtic fans people or their guys until they won, and then they were there a couple of years and lost a couple times, and they became like part of the city, you know what I mean? So it's just like Kendrick Perkins doesn't have to buy a drink in Boston, you know what I mean? Like those guys, any guys on this team, like Eddie House probably doesn't either, you know what I mean? Like just some random, like that team was just so loved for some reason. So I don't know. There's something to the mercenary thing, but maybe I'm overthinking it because you got to think about it. Like they win a championship this year, that's crazy. And then next year, if they win another one, and then in 3 years they win another one, then it's just like, oh my god, this team is just so good. And then the team's gonna change. There's gonna be turnover. They'll probably fire Nash, and they'll still win a championship. It'll be like all these weird things that happen.
Bron will be coaching him at that point.
Bronny Jr. will be on the Nets, and you know, kind of a thing. So,
well, how about
hard to tell.
There was a Knicks fan that took a cheap shot at the Nets, and that seemed to get Twitter on fire. That Emmanuel Quickly, that the Nets have Durant, Harden, and Kyrie, yet Emmanuel Quickly is the biggest. What is it? The biggest story in basketball.
Jeff Eisenband, good guy. He said, "Where's the tweet? I'm gonna find it. Just stick with me 1 second." My guy tweets more than I thought he does. This is terrible podcasting. He goes, wow. Geez, I'm never going to find it. It was something along those lines of that. It's you know, that Emmanuel Quickly is the most popular player he's the most popular player in New York, and the Nets have James Harden and all these guys. You know what I mean? So, and it's not completely untrue, but
how do you gauge it? I guess my question is, how does he know that?
But
so it's just a gut instinct.
You know what it is? If you break it down, the Knicks have more fans. Like you admitted that I'm not even being a jerk. The Knicks have more fans, and that's just what it is. And here it is. I found it. The Nets got Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden, and the most popular NBA player in New York City right now is Emmanuel Quickly, and that got 14,000 likes.
That's for clicks.
Yeah, 2.3 retweets. Jeff Eisenband, he's a good guy, and it's funny how like that is it's not true, but it's true. Like nationally, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, James Harden is a huge story. Like you've talked to my friends, I have friends in California, friends in other states, and they're like, "Oh, the Nets," and I'm like, nobody, like people in New York care, but it's just not as.
I think it's growing. Though. I do think it's
also weird.
Now, I don't think it's nobody cares. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's nobody cares. I think
people care, definitely care because it's the intrigue. Like it's a new thing, but it's also we don't have the same gauge as what's popular in New York and what's not with this pandemic stuff because we're all online. Like that's how we're all figuring out talking. We're not like talking to random people in the elevator or like the water cooler talk, like people say, which I don't think anybody ever talks around a water cooler anymore. But you know what I'm saying? Like just the natural banter. You're not getting a feel for the city, you know, as it usually is. So I don't know how that you can really gauge that. So you kind of made a good point there. But
yeah, I'm just curious. That's why I think it's just trolling. It's like. I think my perspective hearing that is I'm sick of the Nets. Knicks having a little success. I'm going to punish the Nets with the old playbook. That's what that felt like to me.
Right. Whatever. It worked.
And it got under my skin. Oh, it absolutely got under my skin. And I try to be. We've done these episodes enough that you know my feelings on the Knicks, and you also know my feelings on New York basketball and all of it. And I try to be as rational as I can, and I want the Nets. You know, I want the Nets to win a title. That's priority one, not winning the back pages and shit. But it is annoying. Just like it would be annoying if a Celtics fan said something or if a Patriot fan made a Jets joke. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
It's more than that.
Why are you taking shots at me? Yeah, exactly. Let me get my Spygate jokes in and then you just move on. Like, you know.
And my cat is eating out of the damn sink. All right, because cats are the best. And he interrupted me, Leon, who was eating out of the sink. I think because we had salmon tonight, and I'm guessing there's some of the salmon flavor in the sink. And anyway, TMI on my cat. Let's talk some Super Bowl, Alex. Chiefs, Buccaneers, Super Bowl 5-5. Your early impressions now into almost their impressions getting ready for this game.
Were they play for pay. No,
Are we allowed to even say Super Bowl? What's the deal with that?
I'm saying it. It's a Super Bowl. I guess
you can
the
say
big
it.
game, right?
The big game.
game is so silly. I mean, but everybody, I just don't get that. But whatever, I understand.
There's
marketing,
right.
but
It's just the rights, you know.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, doesn't somebody own the rights to the Happy Birthday song? Does everybody?
I think that expired, but yes,
it did. It did.
You know the one you can't say. Actually, I'm not even going to say it because this guy's got a detector. This is not sarcasm. Michael Buffer. You can't talk for say.
Don't
even say it.
The beginning of
they
a
don't
match.
Don't even say it. They have like a thing where he'll find it and sue you.
It's a Zohan. The guy from the Zohan movie.
Can't do it. Wants that. I might even edit this out. I'm going to get paranoid.
No, we'll be fine.
It's Entercom. We would get an email every year about not allowing it to say it. And one time there was a guest that came on and they were like, "Hey, you ready?" This was on the DA show. And they were like, "Hey, are you excited to be a guest right now?" And he said that. And then they got.
Did you guys all look at each other in the studio like,
"This wasn't my show," but
okay.
the show got in trouble for the guest saying it, and they were like, "Well, we can't. We didn't know." They're like, "You got to dump it." Like, okay, so it's just like saying "fuck."
Yeah.
Anyway, little rant. Ridiculous. Thoughts on the game? I
think CBS Sports Radio would push back on something like that. Like, no, but I guess
they don't want to get sued.
Yeah, I guess. Well, anyway, so Chiefs-Bucks. The Bucks are getting 3.5 points. I'm not even worried about the points because I think the Chiefs are going to smack the Bucks. I think it'll be close early, and then by the third quarter, the Chiefs are going to pull away. I think the Bucks can hang in there, but like we were saying to Mo, the Bucks have to be like perfect to win this game because people are putting giving Brady the pass for the poor play that he in the NFC Championship game, and he is old. I know he doesn't look old, he doesn't play old all the time, but the Chiefs are just like top to bottom, man. They are loaded. They are. I don't know.
Do you think if Brady loses, it hurts anything from him, or at this point this is just bonus land?
I think this is all gravy for him. Just getting there
doesn't matter.
Great. Like he's already better than Montana because Montana, when he went to the Chiefs, coincidentally, he got to the AFC Championship game but didn't get to the Super Bowl. So, he wanted it. If I don't know, is he the first? Would he be the first player to win an MVP on two different teams? Super Bowl MVP on two different teams? I'm not sure, of course, but that's probably a fact. But I just. Because I can't even think of anybody who would even have a chance for that as even obviously quarterback, no chance that's happened, but that's just a crazy thing, and it definitely is gravy for him. But I don't know, I can't see this being a very good game. I mean, it's a Super Bowl, so anything can happen, a couple fumbles here and there, but the Chiefs, they've had times where in the playoffs last year, remember they were down like 28-0 or something like that early on, and they were like, we got this or something. They kept it going, and there was no chance.
I don't think he won the MVP, but it would be Peyton Manning he won with two teams, but he wasn't. He was shit with the Broncos.
Didn't Von Miller win an MVP?
It was Von that won it, so it wasn't Peyton, but he did win with two different teams at the quarterback position.
Right.
Yeah, he won with two different teams at like linebacker. Probably about a bajillion times.
As far as the starting quarterback, well, yeah, but the people you don't really think of that one as because Peyton didn't win a lot of championships with the Colts, as many as he should have, even though he was, a great quarterback, one of the best of all time. And he's not a choke artist like some people try to paint them as. You can't be a Super Bowl MVP and be a choke artist. Like, I'm sorry, but you also, that second Super Bowl, that Super Bowl that he got with the Broncos in his second appearance in the Super Bowl with him
in Jersey.
With them in Jersey, the first one they lost to the Seahawks in Jersey, and then the second one, they won. I forgot who they beat, but it's just, he wasn't Peyton Manning anymore. Remember, Brock Osweiler was taking over for him a couple times throughout that year. It was just a weird year for him. They just kind of limped to the finish line, But enough of that. But what's your pick? Who you got? Chiefs or Bucks?
I know I said it with Mo earlier, Tampa, but I have a hard time seeing Kansas City lose. They're a well-oiled machine right now. I guess if you're fearful of Patrick Mahomes being hurt and they're not revealing as much, but you have to remember too, this is the final game, so they're going to let it all loose. They're going to let it all out. They don't have to worry about. They don't have to worry about next week or the week after. This is it. They're all in on Patrick Mahomes here, and I have a hard time. I know I'm contradicting myself a little bit from before, but I have a hard time seeing him lose at this point, and it feels like this is the Andy Reid dynasty that's just kind of taken off, and all the hard work and everything he's put in to these moments. And I'll say this too, there's one guy that knows how to scheme up a game that kind of bothers Tom Brady. It's Spags over there, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs.
True.
He did it twice. He did it once with the Giants when he was the DC there. So he would,
Maybe JPP knows something though, and he can tell the Bucks what's going to happen. Because he's on the Bucks with his 2 fingers.
JPP's put together a nice season too. So kudos to him for getting his shit together after blowing his hand off. God,
good for him, man.
It's like
Yeah, you hate to laugh, but he makes a joke out of it now, so we were allowed to laugh. It's just whatever. So your official pick is Chiefs.
Yeah,
Chiefs is your pick.
Chiefs.
Are you
Chiefs,
doing the spread or with the -3.5? Are we doing the spread? Who cares? I think the Chiefs are going to win.
This is the game where it's going to be like Tampa. This is going to be the Bills game part 2 in my head. Slow, take off. So like 34-17.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's a good score. I think that's a good one. I don't even know about it. I wasn't even thinking about a score. I think something like 38-20, something like that.
106-8.
The Bucks get like a cheap touchdown late in the game. You know what I mean? They make it that, and it's not even close the whole time. Something like that. The over under is 56.5 points total. That's pretty good. That's a good bet, man.
You gonna bet this weekend?
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. If somebody in Jersey wants to place bets for me, that'd be nice. No, my buddy.
Well,
I have people.
Find friends in Jersey, man.
Yeah. New York needs to get gambling legal here, man. What's going on, guys? Come on, let's get this together. You guys want to get reelected, Cuomo, or anybody else want to become governor? Let's get some gambling legal. Let's not make this.
I'm not. Podcast. I don't partake.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a degenerate gambler, but times like this at the Super Bowl, I just want to be able to log onto my phone and bet it. I don't want to have to go with some overseas site online and pay $1 million just to cash out my money. Yes, you want $100, but it costs you $37 to cash out.
Right.
It's just come on, man. But anyway, so our new feature that we've had the last couple of weeks was the jersey number trivia. What are we, episode number 46 now, or which one? Yeah,
46.
46. So you want to go Knicks or Nets first? Is it 47? Oh, yes, 47.
Did I say it wrong in the beginning?
Oh, you might have.
Oh, God. Well, that's not very good.
Do we even know what episode are we? What day?
I've had the giggles. I got to be honest tonight. I've just been in a different zone. I haven't fucking slept.
Let's see.
No, it's 46.
46. That's what I thought.
46. I'm just
okay. That was right.
It's been a weird couple days.
I think you said 46 too. What if you didn't?
I do. Whatever.
Look at your phone if you didn't. If you don't know what episode it is, and if you're worried about what episode it is,
we're going on 46. Going on 46. Sorry. I'm high. No, I'm not. I'm
you're not.
Tired. Just really. You ever get to a point where you're just past the point of exhaustion and you're just you just get the giggles? I got the giggles.
Actually, that happens. Yeah,
what? I kind of got the giggles. Everything I say makes me laugh.
You're like a second grade schoolgirl, just getting the giggles in class or something. Yeah. So anyway, or schoolboy. I'm sorry. So anyway, Knicks number 46. Let's see. You're never gonna guess it because I have no idea who this person is. But
Reggie Bullock. What number is he?
I don't even know. I don't even know what number he is, to be honest.
No, I thought he's 46.
No, maybe 44. No, who cares? I don't want to look like an idiot. I have no idea.
46 is on the Knicks. Okay, I won't get him.
You have no idea. I've
any of them
from 1974 to 1976. He played.
Oh, Tony,
Dennis Bell.
DB.
Yeah, yeah, boy. He was a 5th round pick in the 1973 draft. So
he went ahead of Schneiderman, right?
Jinx, bro. He's drafted in 1973, right after they won their second championship and their last championship. So
should we get him on the podcast to talk about he's fucked your franchise?
The curse of Dennis Bell. That's what it is. Played 3 years and averaged 2.8 points per game. It was a great career. 3 years, 3 more years than I played. So
I was to say he's in the league, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty great.
He probably made $35,000.
I probably made more money than him out of college than he did in the NBA for 3 years. But anyway, so number 46 for the Nets. There was never a number 46 for the Nets.
Okay, because I was I'm not thinking there anybody. It's gonna get tough now. I know a 47. Maybe
that's the easy one. Yeah, that's the easy one. Catchy nickname. Let's see if people can guess it by next week, or if you can just Google now.
For the Nets, 47.
Yeah.
It was Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
And
are we gonna guess this now?
He had some weird shit going on with women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know it is. We'll do
Are we
for
going to
next
guess
time.
it? No, we'll
I'll do
save it
next
for the next
week.
one. Yeah,
But I
yeah.
got it right. That's a little tease.
Everybody's going to Google. It's not, the 1990s anymore. People can just look something up really
That's
quick.
fair. You got a poll question for us, kids?
I got a poll question for you guys. Okay, so Knicks fans, what has you the most excited about this? What has you the most excited about this season? Maybe I didn't word that question correctly, but maybe I'm just tired and I can't read. So what are you most excited about this season, Mike? Is it Randall taking a step, the emergence of Emmanuel quickly, RJ Barrett's consistency, or the Knicks' defensive effort?
I'm surprised. Like, to me, and I responded to this. I'm surprised that people weren't all on board with quickly, and there was other answers.
Right.
Is that a strange thought from me?
No, not at all. Not at all. I would think that that's the most exciting thing too, because he just came out of nowhere. Like everybody's excited about Toppin. Everybody's like, maybe Quickly's gonna be good. Remember we mentioned maybe there's a chance Quickly could be better than Toppin because you never know. It's the NBA draft. But
if Quickly wasn't playing well, there'd be panic.
Yeah. With Toppin, starting slow, getting the injury. It's not really his fault. He's still getting his feet under him. Like we
just
talked
saying,
about.
If Quickly was just like, oh yeah, he's been nice. He was
Alonzo Trier. Yeah.
But like you'd be terrified. I mean,
right.
In my viewpoint, he's made this season interesting and not, and that's maybe I'm being. Yes, Randall's played well. Yes, Barrett's taken a step.
It's RJ Barrett also. RJ Barrett's the other one. I mean, him stepping up and looking consistent and looking good. That's exciting because if he wasn't looking good, the Knicks would be 10 years.
We've talked about that. Yeah. That'd be right. Trouble land because Knox is out of the rotation.
I know. So was Frank. Neither two lottery picks on your team, not that long ago, and they can't even get on the court.
Right.
It's absurd. It's not Tibbs' fault there because they've been in the league a couple of years. If you can't get on the court now, then it's just what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Knox going to beat out Bobby Portis last year for minutes. And this year he can't beat out. And
I'll make it about the Nets, and that's why Joe Harris, 2nd round pick, Spencer Dinwiddie, 2nd round pick. If you can turn players into if guys have good work ethics and want to play and do everything right, they can be legit NBA players, and it doesn't even matter. You can fuck it up if you're the 7th or 8th pick in the NBA draft.
Right, and look at Keldon Johnson with the Spurs. I just figured out who he was. I thought he was a rookie, and I was like, where did this guy come from? I'm like, what the hell? I saw. A couple highlights, a couple days. I was like, maybe it's a shot in, great game. And all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, who the hell is this guy? I thought he was a rookie. But anyway, so the winner of the poll question was the emergence of Emmanuel quickly, 51.6% of the votes. Barrett's consistently came in second, 27.8% of the votes. Consistency, not consistently. Randall taking a step was fourth with 7.5%. And the Knicks defensive effort was third with 13.2%. I know I went kind of 1, 2, 4, 3, but I'm surprised that Randall wasn't a higher thing because that's kind of exciting that he might be an all-star on the team out of nowhere where we thought he was off the team. And this is 805 votes. So we got a pretty good gauge of what people are thinking out there.
Well, it showed you did a good poll that you got that much. It wasn't like 70%.
Wasn't like, what's your favorite jersey? It was like, it was like
it's a good poll that you got that kind of variety in your answers. So good job by you.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I'm getting better at this. Sometimes I nail these poll questions, and sometimes I'm just like, that was.
Do they just come to you randomly? How does that work?
Yeah, it just hits me. You know what I mean? Like I'm an artist, man, and sometimes when it hits me, I have to tweet it out.
Oh my, an artist. Here we go.
All right, so a couple of fan responses. So we have Wise Guy. He's at Wise Guy 973. He goes, a lot to be excited about, which is true. So pretty much he's saying there's a lot to be excited about, and I'm not going to tell you what my answer is because I like all of them. That's pretty much what he's saying. Then we have Kyle. He's at K Deceptio, KDECEPTIO. He goes, never expected to see any of these happen before the season. Laughing my ass off. Pretty hard choice. So we don't know what he picked either. Excuse me. Then we have at RAHMMAGICK. So Ram Magic. He goes, Randall, quickly, RJ, and number 1 defensive ranking with exclamation point. So we don't know what he picked either. So this is really what the theme is here. Everybody's like, all of the above. And I said, stop it, Mano. The rapper.
Can't all of the above it.
With T-Pain. The song.
Then
we have Vince Pellegrini. That's my guy. At Vince VP84. Honestly, couldn't pick one. It's a tie for me between Quickly and RJ. So we have no idea what these fans have chosen on these poll questions. The bad weather fans, we don't know what they chose, but pretty much everybody's excited about everything. And Quickly has definitely won the poll by a good amount. So That's your answer. That's your poll question.
I like that. I thought you improved with your skill set. Nice job, the magician, the maestro, Alex.
Yeah.
Good job. No, it was a good question. Maybe one day I'll do a Nets poll question. Get 8 votes.
Is it like you and Evan Roberts voting on all your 5 different Twitter accounts that you have?
I don't have 5 different Twitter
I'm only
accounts.
kidding.
I have 6.
Well, it's definitely better than my last poll question, which was, are you happy with Coach Tibbs so far? So that's definitely an upgrade from that one. That
Do
was just
you
kinda,
like your life? Are you happy?
Are you
looking
happy?
Yeah. All right,
So-
Alex. Episode 46 in the books. Thank you again to Moe Moton coming on, talking Knicks, talking Raiders. That was fun. Previewing the Super Bowl. And guys, again, don't forget, and guys and gals, please give a 5-star rating, leave a comment. It's greatly appreciated. We're closing in on 100 ratings. We have like one person that gave a 1-star rating, which was probably
probably somebody that
somebody's
doesn't like
burner.
Me. Somebody that doesn't like me. Usually it's that. Maybe not you.
Yeah,
I
probably
think
not
everybody
me.
likes
Probably
you pretty much. It's usually me that people don't like, but it's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's all right.
I got to get to know you.
Who are you? And what sucks also, bad news,
Uh-oh.
the Mavericks won tonight, so that stinks.
Shit.
Damn it.
You're fine. Maybe
No.
could you, oh God, if that lottery pick hit.
And the Knicks beat the Nets in the first round of the playoffs. Oh boy, Knicks get the number 1 pick, and they won the foot. Oh man, that'd be a great
Okay,
game.
let me ask you this. If the Nets win the title, Mavs pick becomes number 1. Would you take that trade?
Hell yeah.
You
Any
would.
day. Yes, 100%.
But you think you would? You think the net hate has dwindled, and you've kind of been like maybe 3 months ago you would have accepted that?
Honestly, I don't. I care more about the Knicks being good than the Nets suck.
Good to hear.
But
Good to hear.
I don't. I would prefer both being going my way. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
Fair enough.
Just give me 2 picks and let's package it, or let's take the guys and let's see what we got. You know what I'm saying? Like we got the cap space to take on a star this offseason. We get 2 top 10 picks. Let's
Let's roll.
Thank you very much.
Bad
But
weather
I don't want to make a
fans.
trade. I want to take the picks. I want to make the picks. So let's just be clear.
Alex wants the picks. The Mavs, I'm telling you right now, going to win the lottery. It's going to your team.
Thanks.
And the Nets are winning the title.
You know what's going to happen? They're going to be in the lottery, but they're going to be the 10th seed, and then they're going to win to get into the play-in tournament.
That's
We're
a
not
fair
going to get a
point.
lottery pick. That's
That's a weird one. That's a weird one.
Yeah, because they easily can be the 10th seed. Easily.
That's true. I forgot about that. And then
So
Luka
annoying.
gets hot. Luka scored 62.
Porzingis
And the
played 3
Lakers are-
minutes, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right. That's a fair point. All right, Alex, Bad Weather Fans, episode 46, rolling right along. Thank you, man.
Enjoy the Super Bowl, guys. Have a good one.
Peace.